Hey there, everyone, and welcome into Varsity Vibe. As always, it is such a pleasure to have you join us on these conversations. I love to share these conversations with you, with these coaches and these players, and their stories. Get to share where they've been, where they want to head, and of course, what makes them who they are here on Varsity Vibe. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange. Thanks so much for being here with us, and excited for this next conversation to sit down with Bentonville West head basketball coach for the boys, Trent Loyd. And after 13 seasons at Pea Ridge, 11 of those as the boys head coach, he made that short move over to Bentonville West in 2024. He's the son of a high school coach, but he's been able to put his own stamp on his program with everything that he's learned over the years and the knowledge that's been shared with him over the years. To him, the future for the Wolverines is bright, and it is something exciting to be a part of. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Bentonville West boys head coach Trent Loyd.
You took over this program 2 years ago and were able to put your own stamp on a foundation that Coach Greg White had kind of put into place, what he kind of created and helped start the program in 2016. And so what has that growth been like with this program?
Yeah, showing up here, 2 years ago, this being the second year being the head coach at West, Coach White built something special here. And, Coach White and myself are good buddies. And so I've kind of been able to watch him build that thing from the ground up. Coaching at Pea Ridge right across the interstate, thought highly of this basketball program for a long time. And so, to be able to come over here and be a part of it and to keep building on the culture that they had here, it's been special.
When this job came open, what was it about this job that interests you?
I think it just has, there's a little small town feel to it with big time atmosphere. Like I said, the culture that Coach White had, just the type of people that are here, the administration that's here, the support that's here, that's big. And so, when you start reaching out and talking to different people, everybody was raving about this place. And so, that definitely caught our family's attention, and we talked about it, thought it was the right move for us.
You got the phone call, you get the job, and what were the things that you wanted to do right away?
Oh, obviously you want to tell your friends, your family. And the other side of it, like we talked about, I've been at Pea Ridge for, 13 years. And so I had a lot of relationships there. And so, the other side of it, you're thinking, okay, well here, there's a little nerve, right? It's a new journey. It's a newer feature. And sometimes it's tough to get out of your comfort zone. And that's something that was tough for us because we were engraved in that community so much. But this is a special place and just extremely blessed and thankful to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah, it must have been hard to leave. Though you didn't go far.
No.
Right? You said right down the interstate. But to be at place for 13 years, am I correct?
Yes.
Head coach for 11.
Yes.
That's a hard walk away.
No, it is. You're sitting there, you come out of college and it's your first job. Mm-hmm. And so, that community, the school district, from 22 years old to about 34, they kind of see you grow up. They see your family. They see your kids starting to grow up. And so, with that, we're just thankful for the time we had at Pea Ridge. It's a special place, special community. They had a superintendent in Rick Neal, a principal, and John LaFoon, and an athletic director, Tony Travis, that, gave me the opportunity at 24 years old to be a head coach. And I'm very grateful for that. But I've got a lot of just lifelong friendships from my time there.
How did you grow as a coach over those years? What'd you learn about yourself?
I think, trial and error.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about, I had got my dad that I was able to rely on, still do, lean on him a ton daily and with basketball knowledge, but had a coach in Charlie Clark that was just, it was so important in my journey. He allowed me to grow. He allowed me to make mistakes. At the same time was just always so encouraging and uplifting. So I knew I could be me, and that's what he wanted. And so couldn't have asked for a better boss year one coming out of college. Just so thankful for him.
Being so young when you step into a program and help out and then take over it 2 years later, how much of what you've thought as a basketball philosophy stays with you, and then how much is adapted and changed over the years?
Oh, for sure. I think at that moment when that happened, I'm taking a lot of the stuff that Coach Clark was doing at Pea Ridge, but also adapting it to the stuff that I knew growing up with my dad at Van Buren. Mm-hmm. One of my other big mentors was Coach Bryant, the assistant coach at Van Buren, one of the best basketball coaches that I've ever been around. And so, I think as a coach, we're always, lifelong learners, right? We're always looking to grow. We're always stealing stuff from somebody. And so yearly, daily practice, everything, we're all looking to keep growing and developing our philosophy. So I don't think it ever stays true to to one thing. I think it's constantly evolving.
You've mentioned your dad a couple times. What's it like growing up as a coach's son?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's such a good time with it.
Yeah.
Getting checked out, getting on the bus when you're 10, 11 years old, thinking you're the coolest kid around because you're on the bus with the high school kids.
Right.
But just seeing the way that he handled it day to day, seeing how he built relationships, seeing how he went about his practice, seeing how he handled the locker room, seeing how detailed he was in everything he did. But from my side of it, growing up and seeing the relationship side of what he had with his players, that's what, for me, that's what it was always about. And so I wanted to do that.
Yeah. What did he teach you about the game specifically?
Just attention to detail, how it matters. How the relationship side of it is so important.
Yeah.
Like if your players, obviously the saying of we want our players to run through a brick wall for us, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I want my players to know that we're going to do the same for them.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point, then your players know that you truly care about them on and off the floor, and special things can happen.
Yeah. I played for my dad too. He was my softball coach. And I found myself sometimes with my kids being like, oh, I sound like my dad. Have you ever found moments where you said something on the floor and you're like, nah, I sound like my dad?
No, for sure. I've had a couple of friends show up and say, I've seen that stare before. You got the same stare. And so, I'm sure there's more than just that. But, when you're around it daily like you have been, you catch on the little thing, good and bad, right? And so it's fun. They don't miss many games. I talk to him daily still about opponents and ask questions. And, he's been a big part of my journey.
Yeah. What was it like growing up and playing at Van Buren? Again, not very far from where we are right now, and being really familiar with just what basketball was in this area.
Yeah. I grew up playing in this conference, and, I've always told everybody Van Buren's such a special place. We talked about a little bit of small town feel, but, Van Buren's a really tight community that has incredible athletic facilities. They care about athletics. They care about education. And to grow up in that and to have that kind of small town feel, but, you're still playing in the highest classification. It was fun. It's definitely a community that loves the Pointers.
Were you a better player or coach, you think?
I sounds a better coach. Okay. So I wasn't bad. I could shoot it. Loved playing. Yeah. Started for 3 years at Van Buren, but, I just think that I was, this is what I was meant to do. Just love the daily challenge of being able to show up. And, we talk daily of a Tuesday, Friday now in the 6A West looks even a little bit different than when we were playing 20 years ago. So, man, kids are just getting so good, so athletic right now. And it's a highly competitive league.
It really is. I mean, the athleticism is crazy when you watch just the high level of basketball, not only here in the 6A West, but you go down to Central Arkansas as well. How cool has it been to see the growth of the talent in the sport continue to grow in the way it has?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, this is the hidden gem across the country, in my opinion. Like Arkansas, when you start looking at the dudes we've had come through that aren't just playing at the highest level in Division I. We got NBA players that have been coming through this league. And so, I say it all the time. We've got incredible players, incredible coaches. It's a good fraternity of coaches that we've got in the 6A West. I'm in the 6A Central. And so it's just the highest level the state has to offer, and it shows nightly.
You as a coach, when you get ready for each season, are there anything that you do specifically to kind of get yourself ready to lead this next team every year?
I think we have to, as high school coaches, it's not like college where you're bringing in kids to fit a system. You've got to develop your system towards the players you've got. And so, when one season ends, we always sit down as a staff and say, hey, what's it look like next year? How do we need to shape who we are to fit our kids? And so that's kind of the first step for us. And then we start trying to build up drills and everything to fit the philosophy for that year.
Let's look at this year and the team that you've had and the growth that you've had. Where do you think the biggest strides have come to where Bentonville West is right now when we're sitting here talking?
Yeah, we're sitting here at 21-8. We've had an incredible year. Yeah. The non-conference slate that we had, though, was it was tough. And so, going into the last couple of weeks before conference play, we go up to Blue Valley Northwest to play Shawnee Mission Northwest, who, last year had the Keaton Wagler kid that's at Illinois. They got a 7-1, 7-2 post player that, is at Link Prep, but is going to Michigan State next year. Then we were able to play. So we got to see those dudes 2 years ago. So we're really excited to go back to Blue Valley. Let's see that type of high-level competition. So, we got to see them, Blue Valley Northwest. We got to see North KC. Then we had the XNA Showcase the next week. Yeah. We get Kickapoo, we get Marriott, two top tier teams. And then we go up to Christmas and we play St. Petersburg, Florida. That's got a top 100 player in the country. We play Life Prep Academy. That's one of the best prep schools in the region. And so our schedule was challenging, but it got us ready for conference play. And, you know, the league this year has so much parity in it. And you can see it with the, I don't even know if you'd even call them upsets, but the teams that have won and lost throughout the 6A West. 16 conference games is tough. We talked about it at our coaches meeting this week. There's a lot of mental and physical warfare as far as 16. That's a grind for high school kids, and us expecting them to be perfect. But really felt like our non-conference play got us ready for that, and it's showing right now.
As we're talking, we're a week away from the start of the postseason. What does your team have to continue to do to find success when that next chapter of the postseason starts here soon?
Oh, for sure. You know, you want to play your best basketball late February, early March, and, you know, defensively, we're really good. That's what we hang our hat on here at West, but we still can go up a notch with our physicality, our rebounding. Offensively, we got to stay crisp. We got to screen our screen angles and timing, all the details of that. But that's something we're working on daily right now in practice, and our guys are trending in the right direction.
How exciting is it to see the guys, as you mentioned, trending in the right direction, but playing their best basketball right now when it matters?
You know, we've got a group of seniors that are incredible. They lead by example. They show up ready to go every day. They know when to praise. They know when to hold their teammates accountable. But, you know, when you've got Landon Price, Cooper Moore, Drake Tidwell, Doug Campbell, C.J. Coleman, you know, you've got those 5 guys that are leading, you know, daily, and they haven't missed a day. I mean, they show up with the right mindset, the right attitude, and they're a special group of seniors.
All right, you mentioned Landon Price, and I would not be able to do this interview without talking about that buzzer beater against Bentonville.
Yeah.
He talked us through it a little bit, but from your perspective, what were you saying?
Yeah, you know, we wanted to get the ball to Landon.
Yeah.
So the plan was, you know, he's so gifted physically, we were going to throw it up. Then we saw that Bentonville was a little soft, so we were going to set a screen to get him open, and then didn't have to. And so we had a guy cut threw it to Landon, and just kind of said, hey, you got a couple options here, try to go make a play. And he, you know, he kind of bobbled it a little bit, but, you know, that's who he is. Mm-hmm. He's not afraid of that moment. Yeah. He wants the ball in his hands. Honestly, in his mind, the entire time, he was probably thinking, when this hits my hand, it's going up. There's no other option.
Sure.
And so that's the winner he is. That's his mentality. And he's just a special player on and off the field.
Where does that rank? And maybe as in your coaching career is moments?
Oh, that's top 2 or 3 for sure. Top 2 or 3. You know, just a healthy rivalry game versus Bentonville. You know, they've got a great basketball team, a great basketball program. I think it's the best rivalry in Northwest Arkansas. If you go back and look over the last 10 years, you know, the games, won, loss, everything's pretty tight. Yeah. The atmospheres are awesome. Of course,
not to mention the players in those games.
There's been some big time players come through.
Right.
And most of them, you know, they're showing up. The crowds are great. Yeah. And so for that shot to be hit against the arch rival, you know, it was special.
What would it mean to you as the coach to obviously bring a state title and some excitement and recognition to this post basketball program?
Oh, you know, I mean, the world. We just got so many people that have invested so much time and so much effort into building this thing to what it is. You know, that we talk about the past and now we're in the present, but, you know, your guys like Dylan Bailey, Tucker Anderson, Tucker Bowman, Dawson Price, those guys have been in the gym in here kind of whenever they're in town, they've been sliding by. They talk to our guys, they lift them up, they tell them that they could do better. And so you truly have a program where past and present is here and they're all in it for the right reasons. Then you've got administration and you've got assistant coaches and you've got managers, and there's just so many people that are investing into this. Mm-hmm. And so it would mean a lot to be able to, you know, just be able to reap the benefit and the reward of that.
And how special is it because the school is relatively new compared to all of the other schools in the 6A West?
You know, I mean, we're 10 years old. Yeah. And so, you know, you to think about that and think we had 2 kids playing in the NCAA tournament last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, they love their basketball out here. Yeah. And it's a special place. It's you know, they don't just love basketball, they love all the athletics. And, you know, we've got a great coaches fraternity inside Bentonville West High School, where all of our coaches, our teams support each other. Yeah. You know, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thanks for sharing some of your story and best of luck when the postseason begins.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
A very special thank you to Coach Loyd for joining us here on Varsity Vibe, getting to know him as the son of a coach. I was the daughter of a coach, man. It's really cool to be able to have that special bond as a father and a son, and now getting to see him be able to do his thing and put his own stamp on his program. Our Lindsay Boys Athlete of the Week this week going to Harbor's Samuel Hensey, playing a big role in the Wildcats' wins last week over Northside and Springdale to lock up the number 1 seed in the 6A West. He had 10 points against the Grizzlies and 13 points against the Bulldogs, and when asked about his role for the Wildcats, he says just to go out there, play, and stay focused.
We got the ball to our main guy, Barry Washington. And, he's just such a good player. He drew all their attention, drew the double. So whenever he drew the double, left other guys open. So once I got the ball, I did my thing, made the bucket.
Hensey and the Wildcats now shifting their focus to their ultimate goal, which is trying to win a state championship.
Just our defense. I think that's always the point of improvement. Everyone can get better at defense. But I think that our defense tonight was really well. But I think if we want to have a chance to win state, our defense has to be on long. We can't let teams go off for 60, 70 points and expect to win the game.
Congratulations to Samuel Hensey, our Lindsay Boys Athlete of the Week, number 1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
I feel like during regionals, I really had to step up and show what I can really do.
Our Lindsay Girls Athlete of the Week honors going to Poyen's Kennedy Barrett. Wrapping up a successful regular season, she took her offense into the postseason, helping the Lady Indians to a successful run through the 2A regionals. The freshman responsible for 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. If you're keeping at home, that is a triple-double in their semifinals win over Cutter, and that 40-point performance, a state record for points scored in a regional game.
I had no idea. My mom the next day, she was going through it because we also had a girl hit 8 threes that game. And so we were going through my mom was going through it, and she told me that, so I think that's pretty cool.
She kept that performance going in the finals, finishing with 30 points and 12 rebounds against Dirks.
We're playing really well right now as a team. I think everyone's stepped up and is doing what they need to do for us to win. And I think us hosting state is just going to be really cool. I think our fans will show out really well.
Congratulations to Kennedy Barrett, our Lindsay Girls Athlete of the Week, number 1 in apartments, golf, and real estate. That is going to do it for Varsity Vibe. Thank you so much for joining us as always. If you've missed any conversations that we've had with coaches and athletes over the last couple of weeks, I encourage you to go back and listen to them. It is great to get to know these people as coaches, as athletes, but also who they are away from the game and get to know them a little bit more personally as well. You can find those wherever you get your podcast or wherever you're watching this here on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to all of that so you don't miss a conversation. We also encourage you to follow us along on our social media platforms, guys. That is Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. We have so much highlights, so much behind the scenes content and interviews there for you with teams around the state and everything that's happening right now. We don't want you to miss a thing. So make sure to go follow us along on that, as well as sign up for our newsletter at varsityvibearkansas.com. If newsletter is your thing, that'll come to your inbox on Tuesdays and Fridays each week and keep you in the know with everything that is happening in high school athletics. Again, I'm Melissa Orange. Thank you so much for joining us. A special thank you to our sponsors at Varsity Vibe. We could not do what we do without you. So thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next time.